He changed the name to drop down.
Oh, sorry, caught me out there. There was me trying to get it all set up, doing a little trial run on the new radio station with the show. But for some reason, it's not on YouTube, mate. I don't know whether we got an issue there, but there we are. Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope you've all had a lovely weekend. I hope you all enjoyed the England game. No doubt this is going to dominate the show. But what else have we got on? So we're going to have a few of our funnies. We are going to have a nice back in the day story from Nigel. We're going to talk about some of the proper football that was played over the weekend. And I don't mean England. I mean proper football. The lower league and non-league football. We'll have a look at some of the results coming out there. I'm guessing it's going to be quite a lively show. And I can't wait to see some of the comments coming on as well. England, what can we say? Relegated into a lower status in European football. And was it the fifth loss on a bounce or the fourth?
No goals. Still no goals in open play.
Fifth in a row, yeah. No goals.
Okay, so listen, guys, there's lots and lots of different things that we can discuss that will come out of the discussion we're about to have. But let's just start off with, well, Dan. First of all, how are you?
I'm good, mate. Thank you. I've
back after your journeys on the choo-choo train.
Yeah, busy week on the choo-choos. Fortunately, I missed the England game Friday. I was working. Seen the highlights, but yeah, didn't miss much by all accounts. I was expecting it, mate. It wasn't a surprise. I could have told you what would happen before the game kicked off.
Yeah, I think you're probably absolutely right. But good to have you back, Nigel. How are you? And have you had a good week?
Yeah, I've had a good week. Steady week. Like I said, I didn't really watch much of the England match. I've sort of lost the will to live with Gareth Southgate in charge now. So, but that's a big talking matter today, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got a lot to talk about. So let's quickly switch over to Greg there. How are you? And have you had a good week?
I'm good, mate. Yeah, not bad week, mate. Same old work and whatever, but it was only a 4-day week. But yeah, it was. I'm all right.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. 4-day week, because obviously since last show, before we do talk about England, oh my God, I don't know, guys, what your thoughts were about what happened Monday, but what a day! What
a hard watch, wasn't it?
What a goodbye to our Queen. Unreal.
Yeah. Done it very excellent.
We've just
obviously been planned for years, isn't it?
At the beginning of the show, because it is the first show since funeral, and I think
the planning was unbelievable, wasn't it?
Patriotic people didn't have a tear in their eye watching that. I certainly did.
And do you know what I did? And I'm not even ashamed to say it. Mate. Windsor was a really hard watch, especially.
Oh man, I was blubbing from the minute like they brought the coffin out, put it on the gun carriage, and as the Royal Navy pulled off and the pipes began, I'm like, oh my God, this is like not real.
Lump in the throat job.
And just an amazing thing. There's no two ways about it. But anyway, we needed to get that in, and I have. So let's move on to the subject. In taxi for Okay, yeah, that says it all, really, doesn't it? Okay, so look, England losing 1-0. I would like just to mention both Scotland and Northern Ireland getting good results over the weekend. So good for them. But look, England. I know you're all going to say Southgate, but let's just analyse it a little bit. And Dan, your opinion, mate. What's going wrong?
He's basically not good enough. It's just been. I think we've said it so many times before, but he's picking the same players. Players who ain't out of form and not even playing for their own team, like Maguire, Tony. I don't know if Tony was injured because he wasn't even in the squad. But people saying the over argument. It's a Mickey Mouse competition. We've got to try new things, work out things. But he's playing he played his best team, what he thinks the best team. Yeah. He didn't even try some without Kane, so he's not experimenting. He hasn't changed the system. It's the same negative tactics with an attacking side. He plays defensive football, and defence is our weakest part of the team. He's not going to get the sack though, so he can't even. He'll still be there. They've given him a vote of confidence, haven't they? Which is probably a good thing. But I just think it'll be there. We've got Germany, haven't we, Monday night? See what happens there, but I can't see anything happening there.
No.
I've lost to watch it. Which is sad, isn't it?
Yes, I didn't watch it, and that says it all. I don't think the four of us here, any of us, did watch it.
Caught the last 15.
So, Greg, what do you think's going wrong?
Well, first off, I've never been a fan of his, and I haven't for years. And I've took a lot of slating for it. You know what I mean? People always bring up the counter argument of, "Oh, we reached the final, we reached the semi-final, this, that, and the other." But ultimately, whether it was Friday night or the last 2 years, his tactics aren't good enough. The squad selection for me is bizarre. There's been players over the years that have missed out, and players recently that have missed out that people are bringing up. Why pick up Ivan Toney and then not playing? That team we played against, the team we started with against Italy on Friday, if you probably add maybe John Stones and Pickford to that team, it's our strongest team, and they're probably the team that we're going to start with in the World Cup. He knows what Harry Kane can do. He knows what these players can do. Whether it's negative or not, I just don't get it. I don't understand Southgate's thought process. And what I did catch after the game, I don't know why. I just was a bit bored. I stuck Talk Sport on, and I heard his interview, and he was like, he must have said to the reporter, "Oh, I disagree with you there. Oh, I disagree with you there." And he was trying to make out that actually the Nations League campaign hasn't actually been that bad, and tonight wasn't that bad. And I'm sitting there and I'm going, is he sure? Like, is he believing his own bullshit? Because that's not right. And I don't buy into this for 1 minute that all the players are backing him. I don't believe for 1 minute. If you've got the young, attacking, exciting flair players that we've got, and you've got one of the most negative defensive managers, there's no way that they're buying into this Southgate idea of what he wants to do. So I've wanted him out for a long time. And do you know what? If we lose tomorrow, then good. Because one man has made me fall out of England, mate. One man has literally made me fall out of love with England.
Yeah. Nigel, what's your opinion, mate?
Yeah, I'm pretty much with Greg. I don't really think if we win tomorrow, it matters nothing. Because, that just because we beat Germany doesn't mean all the other games have gone unnoticed. I've said this for a long time. We've got good players in the squad. We've got a good selection to choose from over in England. But we play teams in the Euros and the World Cups. We play teams and we start off really well. We go 1-0 up, and instead of going for the second goal, it's like, let's defend the 1-0 lead all the time. And, when we go 1-0 down, I can't see where the plan B is. How do we change the tactics to get a more attacking side on to get that goal back? I can't see us coming back from being behind.
Yeah.
But what annoys me more than anything is we have started off well in games. We scored early on, and let's go for the jugular. We've got them on the rails now. And it just seems to be once we go 1-0 up, let's pass it backwards, let's pass it sideways, and again, I cannot understand in my mind how he's managed to pick Harry Maguire yesterday. I mean, if you're not in the first team, how the hell can you justify being in the first team in England?
that's a good point, because one of the things I wanted to put to you all, but before I do, I just want to give people a shout who are coming on and making comments. So a good evening to everyone watching from the Tailor Made Army TV. And hello, Paul, on that one. Ian Howells, hello. Sonia, hello. Ian, England. It's been very embarrassing living in Scotland this weekend, especially that they've had a great couple of results, them boys, haven't they? Blimey. The lone bagpiper at the end of the walkway. Oh, did it for me. Talking back, yeah, absolutely, about Monday and the funeral. Paul's saying there from TaylorMade, get Tuchel in and Southgate out. Good evening, Ben Higgins, Simon Lawrence. How are you? Greg reckons we need to get Tyrone Mings back in. Darren Ashley, how are you doing, Darren? Good of you to join us. The kit isn't bad. The kit is disgusting. It's horrible. I hate it. Oh, God, it's awful. Simon Parkin, how are you, sir? Who else you got? Ben Higgins, what's this? The decision at the key moments in the European finals and the semi-finals of the World Cup have been disappointing, which cost us. And I thought, do you know what? I sort of do, but you know what? I don't think they had bad run-ins on either of them competitions. If ever you had a chance to do it, Mike Howe, we must get you back on, Mike. Yes, we must get Mike back on. Dan, I'll leave that one with you.
Yeah.
But great for you to tune in, Mike, and I hope you're well. Right. So my question is this. The team selection. Now, there are a number of players, top England players, that currently are not even getting into their first team sides and are being picked for England. Now, that is potentially one of Southgate's downfalls, that he has his favourites, like a lot of ex-England managers have had. Good evening, Ben Cliff. And there's that problem. But is it also not the problem that we are beginning? I think I touched on this last week, the week before, I can't remember now. Are we also not now seeing a problem where the Premier League, especially off the back of the biggest ever transfer fees being paid out, is now becoming predominantly foreign owned and predominantly foreign play? It's an international league. It's become the World League, all right, played in England by English teams, but only in name, surely. Are we not heading down a road where the amount of players they can pick from in the Premier League is very limited? Because some of these teams, I don't even think have got Englishmen in it. Is that not a problem or a factor? Also, in that very same question, Ivan Toney, why didn't he even get on the bench? Now, I'm going to say this about my opinion on that, because I really did think it was a poor decision. Now, the thing about Ivan Toney is that he is lighting up, an Englishman lighting up the Premier League. His form is amazing. Now, he's never played international football, right? He picks him and then he don't even put him on the bench. Now, surely we've only got tomorrow night left and then it's the World Cup. This is the most informed player in England at the minute, English player. He don't even look at him. Why didn't he even give him a run, even 20 minutes to see? You know, that decision, that one decision, in my view, yeah, you've got the Maguire, you've got Greeley. None of them are playing first-team football, but that one decision to me baffled me. Really did. Anyway, so what do you think on that, guys?
But I think it's. I'm going to go back to the Grealish days at Villa, because I think it's the team that you're playing for that seems to fit Gareth Southgate's head. You know, Tony's at Brentford. It's not a fashionable club. Grealish was at Villa, and Southgate wouldn't play him in the England side. As soon as he went to Man City, Southgate puts him in the side. So, you know, if Tony was at Arsenal, he'd probably be in that side. And that's the thing about Gareth Southgate. I'm not, you know, he seems a safe man. He doesn't want to take chances. Everything he says with the press is safe. I mean, really, he should have been ripping into his side yesterday. Or when they played and they lost against Italy, he should have been having a little bit of a pop at them. You know, the footballers. I know they're international footballers, but they can still get a bollocking. But everything Southgate says is safe. And like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if Tony was at Man United or Liverpool, he'd have had a start yesterday. Not unless he was injured, of course, but I think that's what Southgate is at the moment.
I think he did. To be fair to Southgate, he gave a few Palace players caps. Guy Gallagher when he was there. Forget the other one, and he did. But he's reverted to type like old other England managers. He just picks the favourite. He's gone with his favourites out of form. He's gone with the big players, and he's just not evolved. The team hasn't evolved. He's not changed it. I don't even know what our system is. I don't even know what our strengths are. I couldn't tell you our style of play. I don't know. He just doesn't know. And Greg nailed it earlier when he said the excuses he's come out of him and disagreeing. It's a sign of a lost man who's out of his depth completely. But Gal, your question about the Premier League, it's like an all-star league, more or less, isn't it? I don't know. I think if players are good enough, English players, they will get through it. They will get through. He's still got a massive pool to pick from.
Is it massive? Is it massive?
Well, I think we've got good enough players.
But have you got a big pool?
I've got a hot tub in the garden. No, I don't know.
I mean, I'm playing devil's advocate here, because when I look at even now in the Championship, you're getting sides that are made up of predominantly foreign players.
I think Gary.
I mean, have we got a big pool? I hear what you're saying, and yes, but like what we're seeing. You've got top players, or supposed top players, should we say, like Maguire and Grealish, not getting in their sides.
I think it all comes down to the manager, though, mate. I really do. Like, back to your question, I think that, okay, maybe the pool's not as big as it maybe once was or could be, but we have got so many good, especially probably in the attacking areas, good young players, right? And if you had a manager...
Who are they then? I am going to really play devil's advocate.
Yeah, that's fine. But if you look at, I know Grealish ain't playing as much now, but Grealish, like it or not, Grealish is a top player. Foden, Mount when he was on form last season is a top player.
Grealish ain't getting first team football.
You've got players like Harvey Barnes, he's on the fringes, ain't got in. Conor Gallagher, James
Madison.
There's these players that they're in and around, and I think when I mention the manager, what it takes, right, is. It takes a manager with a bit of bollocks and to be ruthless to actually say, hang on a minute, you've not been playing very well, or you're not playing at all, you're not in this squad. I'm calling up X, Y, Z, who actually, regardless of what club they're at or how young they are or their inexperience at international level, I'm going to give them a go. Southgate hasn't got that. And what Dan says about being safe, he is safe, and it goes with what he knows. But there are plenty of managers out there that would manage this England team and would be different. You'd see certain players being called up and certain players being dropped. So
Sancho,
I think the pool is there.
Sancho's been just cast out altogether, hasn't he? Jordan Sancho. Like, who come in? James Ward-Prowse come in. He's gone out. I don't think he was good enough. I don't know.
See, this is the thing. There are players. Not all these players are necessarily going to be good enough, but you've got to. You've got to bring them into the squad and see what they can do to know they're not good enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the
Which
problem.
he should have done with Ivan Toney, and that comes back to the Ivan Toney decision. Absolutely ludicrous.
But you know what as well, Gary? You can even say that about Tammy Abraham. You can even say that about Tammy Abraham as well, because even him, he's flying for Roma. Last season, he was scoring goals for fun for Roma, and he was like the most informed English striker, I think. I don't know if it was a fact, but I saw something about the goals, the games he'd scored out in Italy. And even then, okay, fair enough, Southgate gives him a call-up, but he's not had anywhere enough minutes, considering.
Well, the bad news is, everybody, is that it ain't going to happen for this Mickey Mouse World Cup, but it is a Mickey Mouse World Cup, and we will come on to some of the more controversial bollocks that's going on around the World Cup, a World Cup which I have no interest in whatsoever. I have to be honest. I love football, but I don't really like Premier League and what's going on there. But no, just touching on my views on Paul. Put the manager aside. I do believe that if we're not careful, we could very much end up in the future with very few top flight players to pick from if there isn't some sort of control about these sides. I mean, that are playing regular first team football. They've got to be playing regular first team football, which again then comes back to that virtual signalling prick Southgate, Well, say it as it is. That's what this show's about. You know what I mean? we're not talk sport, folks, and we've got to say it as it is. And although to be fair, Simon Jordan says it quite a lot, but he is what he is, isn't he? But the truth of the matter is that again, it comes down to you guys have just reeled off name after name of young players that should have been looked at, yet he goes and picks players that are not even playing first team football. Absolute madness. I
think even a good
game should be 5-4 in a rule in football. I watched a TV series about murder of England the other day, and that says a lot. Prowse is class and needs a run in midfield and is a leader. Let's be honest, how isn't James Maddison in the squad? Thank you. Keep these coming in, guys and girls.
I think as well, all it takes, right, if you had a strong manager, if you had a strong manager in charge, they would turn around to the likes of Mason Mount and say, look, you haven't really done it so far this season, 10 games in or whatever it is. Same with Maguire. Same with Grealish, for example. They could turn around to Harry Kane and say, "You're in my squad, but I know what you can do. Tony and Abraham are going to get these 2 games. Do you know what I mean? 90 minutes each to see what they can do." And I think, and then you'd pull out the likes of Mount and Grealish, and you'd say, "Okay, let's have a pop on someone like Maddison. Let's see what he can do." And because what have you got to lose realistically? Brazil have done it. I know they're not playing Nations League. Obviously, they're South American, but they've got a couple of friendlies, and they've called up a lot of players who are on the fringes of their World Cup squad. The manager's gone a completely different way. He's left out quite a few players who he knows are going to be in his squad, and he's called up players on the fringe to see what they can do.
They look mustard.
Realistically, ain't none of that. None of what we've got. 1 game before the World Cup.
Literally,
we've got what we've got. You're not going to get anything else. So, are we going to do well, Nigel? Are we? Nigel? Yeah, Nigel. Go on. Sorry, mate. Nigel, are England going to do any good in this World Cup?
It's coming home.
Go far in it. Like I said, it's almost like he's got shackles on him, and he needs to release them and let them go out and play. I mean, if you had someone like Klopp or Guardiola in charge of the international side, with them players we've got in that side or that squad, I think we'd probably win things. And I think Southgate is so far behind Klopp and Guardiola as far as coaching goes. And maybe that's the problem at the moment. But he's too nice, mate. And the reason he's got a job is just because that's what the FA like. They like people that are nice that won't say anything back to him. That's why Cloughie never got the job. That's why these controversial managers never got the job, because they'd speak back to the FA. But they just want a yes man. And at the moment, Southgate's that man. Again, making excuses after the matches in the post-match summary. He's just, for me, he needs to step down and let somebody else have a go.
Let's not forget, we got done. Was it 4-5-0 Hungary?
Hungary, yeah, 4-0.
I mean, that
4.
He should have gone after that. But I just think we're going to probably, who we got in our group? America,
Iran,
and Wales. We should really muddle that group. Wales game a bit more tougher, but the way we're playing, I can see us not getting out of the group. I'm not over exaggerating. I really can.
Well, I think Wales, for example, are going to relish playing us.
Yeah,
Greg,
they know exactly what we're going to do. It's not going to be hard for Rob Page and his team to work out how England are going to play and what we're going to do.
Greg, let me change it. Greg, can we win it? Can we win the World Cup? Yes or no?
No.
Can we win the World Cup, Dan? Yes or no?
Not a chance.
Nigel, yes or no?
I think we've got a chance, but we won't win it playing the way we're playing at the moment. I think the score we've got is good enough to compete. If the right team is picked and the tactics start changing, like I said, I just can't. We should be attacking sides. We've got good players in England. We've got some talent, but they're not getting allowed to use it at the moment.
And the big thing is we've been worked out. Teams know how to play against us. They'll sit back, and he hasn't changed it. We haven't evolved. That's what I was saying earlier. People know how we play, and they set up to.
Yeah, there's players there that are probably knowing they're going to be picked, no matter what their form is at the club. So where's the motivation for that? You know, maybe it's too easy for him. Like,
I don't think there's a lack of a lot. I know you said it before, Go, about the passion, and I've seen a lot of comments. These players ain't got no passion. But I think they've had the passion drained out of them.
Yeah,
because they're playing in this negative system. You can't hide it if you ain't.
Okay, so let's. Now I'm going to be honest, and this is going to be controversial, and as I always do, no doubt there'll be people that want to shoot me down in flames. But one of the reasons why I've got absolutely no interest in this World Cup is because it's been turned into an absolute political minefield by so many people. And I'm going to be straight. I don't know. You got, this week, for instance, there you go. So they've released this. They're going to wear this One Love armband. I mean, I don't know what this is. A new thing. I know the color. They're not the colors of the rainbow, by the way. So it's not an LGBT rainbow color. This One Love, but inclusive of everything, I suppose. So I don't know what this One Love. I've never seen an announcement about what it means or anything else. But since they released that, I got to be honest with you, there has been more talk about LGBT and their concerns over the World Cup than there is about the actual World Cup on TalkSport. It's been dominated by this situation. Now, I'm going to be straight. I don't want to hear it, right? England had an opportunity, along with every other country, at the very beginning of all this to say no. No, we ain't going. Right? They didn't. They've chose to go. Right? Now, I'm sorry, but they need to get on with it now and play football. I don't want to hear all this shit anymore. This is why I can't get into this World Cup, because all you're going to get is this. Human rights, this, that, and everything else. They had their opportunity. All the clubs, all the countries, should I say, sorry, they've had their opportunity to make a really big stand on it, and they haven't taken it. And the other thing is, I've got to say this. I mean, I'm hearing a lot about, if I'm gay, I'm going to go out and be persecuted. How? How will they know you're gay? Let's get right about this. Unless you're going to go and wave a rainbow flag or start fornicating with another man in the street, what have you got to worry about? But I mean, I might be wrong. Someone tell me, am I wrong?
I think
why would you wave a rainbow flag at an England game? It's not. What's the point of that? That's not supporting England.
You can't. Well, I don't agree at all with the ideology of how they perceive same-sex relationships and all that. And but we've got no right to tell another country and another culture, another belief of what they should do. Yeah, we can say what we like, but don't go. If you, like you just said, if we don't agree with it, don't go in the first place. But then don't go. And all this about, we're going because we want to create change. Just a lot of old bollocks. You're going because there's millions of pounds to maybe.
Well, an armband's going to change it, is it?
No. But that's got more airtime. And I'm not, it's nothing wrong with talking about stuff like that, but it's got more airtime than the 6,500 migrant slaves who've built it, who've died.
Yeah.
That's shocking. And South, they've said, the players are going to go and meet some migrant workers when they get there, but that'll be all staged. It's just a PR stunt. It's just sick that it's going on. I don't blame the Qatar. I'm not blaming the Qataris either. They've been given it.
Yeah, for me, the boat has sailed, right? And so take this political bullshit out of it now. You had your opportunity, you didn't do it, right? Now get out there, play your football. We don't want to hear about all this stuff anymore because you ain't going to change nothing. You've missed that opportunity. You had a great opportunity to do that. And if you're gay and going out to that game, why are you worrying? Don't worry. You're a human being. When you turn up and get off that plane, you're a human being. And that's what you should be. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying.
I heard one guy said he's trans. He was a mate. I think he's one of the main LGBT plus groups, and he's a trans guy. So maybe you will look. You can see that, visualize that.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'll take that. If you're a transvestite getting off playing a geezer dressed as a woman in that respect, I don't mean it in a bad way. So my terminology might be wrong, but you know what I'm saying. If some trans men or women, they actually look the part, but maybe if you're a bit not looking the part, then I can understand that. I'm not sure how many transgender people will be following England in Qatar. I really don't. But I mean, if you're gay, then you're human. And as you are, well, everyone's human, but
we
you know
all
what I'm
know
saying?
everyone.
Unless you're going to come out and go, look at me, I'm gay, then you ain't going to get no grief, surely.
We all know everyone should be welcome anywhere, wherever you are. You should be welcome anywhere. But Qatar is a different country. It's got different belief system, so it shouldn't have gone. And then
I'm afraid, Dave, from day one, it's all been about money. We know that.
FIFA are the big problem. That's what I'm saying. FIFA, the one who should all be aimed at, not Qatar.
Absolutely,
not it's FIFA. We know where they are, but we're all going to sit down and watch it. I said I wouldn't. I know I'm going to watch a few games because I love football. I love a World Cup, so I'm not excited about this at all. But they know that it's like emotional blackmail. They know they can get away with anything because fans will still watch it in their millions.
Well, playing the World Cup in December, I mean, that was the first big change in the first place, wasn't it? I mean, it's always been in the summer, the World Cup. So straight away, they've just shown that money talks. And FIFA don't really care about anything else apart from money, do they?
No, of course they don't. It's not about growing a game. Qatar ain't a hotbed of football, is it? It's a small country, size of Wales. It's just ridiculous. Totally ridiculous.
No, I think we said it right at the very beginning when it got chose many years ago, but it is. I always thought the World Cup was about taking the World Cup to a country where it is going to support the development of the football. It isn't, and that isn't ever going to happen in Qatar. They've already said half stadiums are going to be turned into shopping centres and other stuff anyway. So, and Qatar, we know why Qatar wanted it, because this is how they can sell their country. Their country is going to be heavily thriving on tourism, and they're selling their country, which is great. But the World Cup's about selling football, like it did in South Africa. Went to South Africa, mad about their football, developing football country. That was the right place to go. America, maybe 94 was a bit young for America, or a bit early. But, and that's either, and it's just about the money. And I think it's a shame, like I say, I just don't like the whole agenda, political agendas that are being run there. I just think they've missed the boat now, so stop going on about it. Yeah. The gestures are futile. I'm sorry, they're futile. There was only one gesture, and that was not to go.
Yeah. Russia got it. I know we're going over old ground. They had trouble with hooligans, didn't they? Really bad racism in grounds, banners, and they still got it. But then you had Putin got his world stage. It's an advert for a country, £1 billion advert for a country. So it's all bollocks, isn't it? It's all money.
So I am going to move it along because we have got other stuff to talk about, and we've done this to death now, I think. So let's move along and talk about Mansfield. We'll let Dan put a picture up. I think we spoke about this recently, people, and this is where some of the lower league clubs are looking at bringing their games forward to save on the energy costs of the floodlights and the lighting and whatever else. And Mansfield are going to be the first club to do that, bringing it forward to 1 o'clock. Your views, gentlemen?
I'll blame Southgate. FIFA.
No, I did the right thing to do. I mean, there will be a knock-on effect maybe for fans that maybe it means they've got to get out of bed a bit earlier. But
I think you'll see more of it. I think you'll see more of it. Yeah, I don't think Mansfield are going to be the first team to try it. No. They won't be the last. But what's going to be a major kind of thing will be, how are the crowds affected? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if it will be a massive impact or not, but that will probably be the deciding factor. If Mansfield find out that they're sort of 700 or 800 fans down when they kick off at lunchtime, then maybe they won't do it. Maybe they'll just play as normal. But I don't know. But I think you'll see it a lot more in the like National League and below. You know what I mean? Them sort of levels.
I think that I'm guessing the clubs will do this on an ad hoc basis. So if you've got Plymouth having to travel to Carlisle, I'm guessing they won't do that. I'm guessing they'll have some respect for the distance in which the away fans will have to travel.
We've had this post on our page, and it's been interesting in the comments. People are pro and against it. And the against ones are like, well, what about we play Saturday morning kids football and then we ain't about to get to the game. What about season ticket holders who've already spent for their money for these tickets? And all of a sudden they might work Saturday morning, they can't get to the game. So, but I think at the end of the day, if it's going to save the club a lot of money and keep them going, and it's the only option they've got, I just don't think there's another option.
Well, there is another option, slightly, and that is a compromise, and that is kick off at 2:00, which shouldn't really hurt people. Kick off at 2:00, and that means you can have the floodlights on for half an hour instead of an hour and a half. So you will still use some electricity, but you can.
What I don't think will happen is I don't think that the FA or any of the Football League or anything will get involved. I think it will literally be up to the clubs, and it will be a case of the two clubs who are ever playing each other will discuss it, and they have to agree for it to happen. I don't think there'll be any rule brought in or anything like that. Yeah. It's just like you say, it's going to be on a week by week basis. Some clubs might be suffering more than others. Do you know what I mean? Some clubs might do it fine. Yeah.
To be fair, Ben's put up a comment saying both clubs are involved in the decision process.
No, there we go. Yeah, fair enough.
The other thing to solve the problem is the government. I don't want to get too political. Is they want to fucking do something and help us out with these energy bills. But that's another show.
Yeah, right. Let's move along because we have got a few other things we want to get through here.
So we have a bit of funny stuff, Gail. Do you think for a minute?
Police officers come up about not agreeing to the trial of alcohol in the ground. I think we've got a poster to show there.
Yeah, this is about a pilot scheme that was it Tracy Crouch, the MP, done a fans. I don't know what you call it, but it was about coming up with new ideas, fans charter, wasn't it? And they're going to trial. I think it's in National League and Division 2, they're going to trial you can drink in a stadium and try it out. And this police chief's come out and said it's completely wrong. Just drink fuels all the violence and trouble. You've got people coming in the game, getting in someone's way. When you score a goal, everyone throws their beers up. I personally, I've got used to not having a beer while the game's on now. Non-league, it's great you can. Like you went yesterday.
The pubs get tanked up before they go in the grounds, isn't it? So maybe they know they can have a drink in the ground. They might not drink so much before they go in.
I see both sides to it.
Go down to the bar in any ground, and the bar's always got people at it, no matter whether the game's being played or not. Anyway,
yeah. So like I say, I see both sides.
Anyway, is it a problem? Like you say, the problem is, Nigel, is maybe there's a lot of guzzling goes on because they know they can't get a drink. And a lot of people stay in the bars when the game's on. And I don't know. Look, all they can do is give it a trial, innit, on a couple of clubs and see what happens.
Well, I've missed about 5 Watford goals this season because of drinking. So, yeah. So if I can take my drink out to the stand with me, it might help a little bit.
Have you scored 5 goals this season?
Well, I was trying to think of a number in my head, but I think it's about 4 or 5. Yeah.
Goals either way.
Yeah. Is it a big issue in the National League? I missed the one at Sunderland.
I missed the one at West Brom.
Is it a big issue in the National League?
Nah, not really.
No, I think it works at lower non-league. You can have a drink because it ain't as packed. Yeah. It's different, isn't it? I just don't. I don't miss not being able to drink looking at the pitch at a Premier League game. I don't miss it.
No,
it's when you're away. It's when you go to an away game and you've had a few drinks and then you want to have a drink. Then I don't know. Give it a trial, like you say, and see what happens.
Andrew Brown. If Andrew, can't remember who you support now, mate. Is it Oldham or something? But we can drink on the terrace. Oh no, National South. You're Weymouth, yeah, mate. Are you picking up your games yet? You're really having a bad season. Yeah, no, I did remember that before you put it up, Andrew. Yeah, couldn't you drink in the National? Do they not allow alcohol in the National League then?
No, I don't think so.
No, you're allowed it in the South and North.
Okay, I didn't know that actually.
They want to trial it in the
So Andrew's team Weymouth got relegated last season. He's saying one of the big bonuses in National South, they can have a drink on the terraces. Alcohol is not allowed in grounds in Scotland. Never had any trouble in the Northern Premier League West, except the Macclesfield fans starting trouble in 2 of their games. Yes, we know about that. Okay, all right. Well, I think that I don't see any problem with them having a trial myself, but there we are.
Yeah.
Need a bloody drink watching that lot at the moment. Mate, yeah, Weymouth really, really struggling there. We are going to touch on some of the results we need to push through. So let's see where we are. We've done the alcohol. Premier League are starting to dictate to everyone else, I think. So we've spoke about parachute payments before. No replays in the FA Cup. And they are Premier League sides will be allowed to field an under 21s or not enter at all into the Carabao Cup. So, guys, let's start with the Carabao Cup then. So, if they don't enter, that's
if
fine.
they were the ones in Europe.
Enter their 21s. There should be a rule, my view, and I'm going to say this now because I've said this. We need to get. Everyone needs to have an opportunity to push into Europe or whatever. Now, they must if they're going to do this, they must keep the European spot for the Carabao Cup. If a Premier League side decides not to play, well, up to them, right? Gives a lower league side more chance of getting through to the final and possibly Europe. If a Premier League side decides to start playing their under 21s, the rule must be that they must play that side all the way through to the final. That is what I believe. If they're going to do this, it could work. It could really work well, in my view. But there has to be them rules.
I think it's only Premier League teams who are in Europe can opt to go out the League Cup. It's not all Premier League sides, the way I read it.
Oh, is it?
I think, but it's still the same.
It's still the same point for Europe. Yeah, it is.
So it's only the clubs that are in Europe.
Yeah.
Okay. But your points still stand, though, Gal. There's still fair points you made, though.
Yeah. Sure. If they don't play, don't play. But will it cheapen the cup? The cup's already been cheapened anyway, so I don't really see that's been.
I'm all for it.
Fair, I can't see their under 21 teams doing that well anyway, because
they play in
that Papa John's at the moment, don't they?
And they play in that other one, don't they? And
and a lot of them get turned over, don't they?
I do.
I know quite a few of them get turned over. I think Villa are decent, and Arsenal
you must have the rule that if they're going to play their 21s, that has to be all the way through to the final.
Yeah.
Because you know what will happen? They'll start getting through and thinking, oh, shit, this is our only way of getting into Europe. Whack, full siding. And here we are again with a one-sided competition. Okay. Is there any more we need to say about? Oh, so that's the Carabao Cup. The other one was Premier League. The parachute. Now, we know this has been talked about a lot. And I don't disagree with a fairer distribution of money into the lower leagues. We're always talking about that. And there should be more distribution of money from that top league into the grassroots of football in this country. However, I do also see that the Premier League clubs will bite people's hands off for this, because the minute you stop the parachute payments, the Premier League will become elite, because no one will be able to afford to go up into the Premier League. If they haven't got the backup of parachute payments, they won't spend any money. And all you'll get is the Norwich scenario with every club that goes up. We're probably going to get that anyway at some point. But I do believe if they distribute it, which I do believe in it, that there should be a fair deal, because there is a counter argument that it is unfair that these clubs coming down have got so much money and are able to finance that. But that's, at the end of the day, there is a downside. And I do believe the Premier League will push for it because, mate, it will give them, like the Americans want, like they love, going back to our American owner friends, they love a league that don't have relegation.
I don't know what the answer is, to be honest, because like you say, if they keep it as it is, you'll get the same teams coming up and down. And if you spread it out more, there'll be a massive bigger gap. So I don't know what the answer is, to be honest. And no, but I'm sorry, Ian Hill's comment. Palace won't have to worry about being in Europe. To be
brilliant, man, brilliant.
I think it's great. This under 21s playing in the League Cup. They might give Palace a chance of winning it.
The League Cup one, I think with certain rules could work very easily.
Who does Ian support? Is Ian Watford?
Sorry, right, okay. So parachute payments. I mean, what do you think? I mean, I've got this view that I agree with it. It's such, like you say, it's that, innit? There's a juggling.
I'm with Dan. I'm with Dan. I don't think you can win. I really don't think you can win whatever way you do it.
The only answer is let them have the parachute payment and give lower league football more money.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
Right, okay. Let's move. I'll tell you what. We need a break now. Let's move to the. All right, we'll do that then. I was going to do Nigel first. Never mind.
We can do Nigel first.
No. Stick with the plan then. It's a funny old game, folks. And for some clips today, mate. Arbroath, £7.50.
That can't be real, can it?
Really don't look nice.
Best thing about that is hospitality.
That really, we do this every week. For anyone listening before, we do put up a bit of nosh out of different clubs, and none of it very appealing, really.
Right, this is in Brazil, in one of the favelas. AstroTurf pitch. It's one of their games, and we don't mind a few flares and fireworks at games, the odd drum banging, but this is a bit extreme. Yeah, there's a guy with a machine gun down the bottom.
God. Mate, they need to sack the sniffer dogs. That's all I can say.
Right, there's a goal. I think this could be in Italy. This is.
Golazzo! Golazzo!
There's another little goal.
Good goal.
Grassroots goal.
Wait, no lookers.
Oh my God.
Mate, what's all that about? I mean, come on. He even looked at the camera, didn't he, when he took it?
No, look.
I'd love to know how many times he's tried that, though.
Shit.
Right. Now, this will lead nice into Nigel's. It's a funny old game.
Yes.
No, the good old days, sorry. But
It's
a fantastic clip of Nigel Clough back. And I hadn't actually seen this before.
And, well, we have a character on the field now. And Brian Clough is out there taking him on. And Brian Clough is not amused. Well, there you are. Just look at the antics of that fellow and look at the reaction of Brian Clough, who could not be more angry. And Brian Clough is absolutely livid.
So, Ben, where did you get that costume from anyway?
I thought it was you and you had a bit of hair around the side. But some of the comments on the page said, was it the Polish goalkeeper? Because he called him a clown all them years ago, didn't he? Was it the Polish keeper?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, classic Cluffy though, isn't it? But like you say, that leads nicely. I just quickly, Darren Ashley has said that was the Homestell Fanatics on tour. Right. Don't want to say the rest of that because I might say it wrong. Right, the good old days. This is where you can, if you wish, to ask questions of Nigel from the good old days, then go ahead. But what he will do is give us a story from the good old days. Over to you, Nigel.
Yeah, the good old days. Dave's got a few stories to tell. I'm going to take you back to the time when the Falklands War was going on. All right, and we had a kit man called Roy Clare at Watford. Me, Steve Terry, Kenny Jackett, we used to wind him up something rotten. I was always taking a bit out of him, all that. Like, so they were about calling up people for the Falklands War, to enlist and like that. I wake up one morning on a Tuesday, I think it was, and I got a letter through the letterbox from the Ministry of Defence, and it says, you've been called up to do national service. And I'm thinking, they can't do that. I'm a footballer. So the first thing I do when I get in there is I say, Kenny, Steve, did you get a letter today? Yes. He's like, I can't believe it. And we're all shitting ourselves now. So we go out and train, and we're still talking about it afterwards. And the next day we're like, Gaffer, would you have to go? And he said, well, I don't know. I mean, I've got nothing to do with the Ministry of Defence. And by now, like, we've gone Tuesday and Wednesday, and we're absolutely cacking it. But it turns out Roy Clare used to be in the RAF, and he's still got headed paper. So he decided he was going to get his bung back on us and send us a letter. Well, he's let us stew for about 2 days, and then on Friday he told us it was all a joke. Yeah, it was a good one by Roy. He definitely got us all on that one.
Oh, brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Right, get another one ready for next week. Next week again, folks, at 6:30. Every Sunday at 6:30, indeed we are. I'm not with you next week, so Daniel will be taking the reins. And so I'm sure you'll be happy to learn that you ain't got to put up with me for a show next week. Right, okay, so...
Talk about the radio station, Gail?
We're quick talk about radio station. I do want to cover off some of yesterday's results.
Oh yeah, we'll come back.
Proper football was being played. So all right, let's do the football results. We'll talk about radio station at the end. Okay, football results. So I'm just going to quickly run through. Obviously, we know the internationals, and great result for Northern Ireland there, 2-1 at home at Kosovo, and Scotland picking up their second win of the week. With a 2-1 win over the Republic of Ireland. Quite impressive, Scotland, I've got to say. With a 3-0 win over Ukraine in the week as well. They have certainly turned it around. Okay, so let's have a look now. League One, Forest Green Rovers getting a bit of a whopping at home, losing 4-0 to Exeter. Barnsley getting a 3-1 win over Charlton. Simon's Bristol Rovers getting a loss 1-0 at home to Accrington. Quite a few postpones because of international call-ups. Derby, Lincoln, Oxford, Portsmouth all postponed. Sheffield Wednesday getting a 3-1 win over Wickham. Let's have a see. If I'm missing results, I do apologise. I'm only going to really flick through any outstanding ones that look good. Northampton doing very well, getting a 2-1 win over Stockport there. Stockport, I still could never understand why they were made favourites for that league after coming up from the National League.
I've got to give a shout out to Leighton Orient, Gal. Leighton Orient have been brilliant this season.
They've been flying, mate.
2-0 at Barrow, really who was doing well.
And again, a great result on
Stevenage
Saturday,
as well.
2-0 up at Barrow. 4-1, Doncaster beating Crawley. Let's have a quick look through any other real outstanding results. Not really. Down into the National League, Bromley getting a good 3-0 win. Oldham, struggling.
Oldham's got a new manager, haven't
they? 3-0, they got beat at Bromley. Massive goals fest there. Dagenham and Redbridge 5, Barnet 4.
I won a few quid on that goal.
Big goal fest going off there. Maidstone United losing 2-1 at home at Chesterfield. I think they've just come up from National League South.
I think that was last minute as well, that one, Gav.
But they are
usually last kick of the game, that.
Yeah, I think they're finding it quite heavy going up in that league. Dorking, the other side that went up, losing away at Scunthorpe 3-2.
2-0 up, girl. Scunthorpe were struggling at the bottom, and they second half 3 goals from Scunthorpe. So Scunthorpe were bottom, weren't they, or near the bottom? So that's a great result with Scunthorpe.
Not having a very good game.
Maybe they've turned the corner
season. There. Other outstanding results there. Hollywood Wrexham beating Torquay 6-0. Haven't watched the latest instalment of that fiasco that was the last episode of that, which we talked about last week. York losing at home 3-1 to Notts County. Just quickly into South and North. Kidderminster winning Kettering 3-0. Hereford getting a 3-0 win there against Blythe Spartan. I do know Ben has mentioned about I can never pronounce it. Coggleston, is it? Near Macclesfield and Kidsgrove. They are the lowest ranked side left in the FA Cup now. And we all know them from their their time at Macclesfield the other year in that scrap.
Yeah,
in the south, Cheshunt 3, another goal fest there. Cheshunt 3, Tunbridge Angels 4. Eastbourne getting a 4-2 win at Concord Rangers, a 3-3 draw Oxford City, Bath City, and because Andrew's on, a very poor loss at home for Weymouth, 2-0 to Dover. Couple of FA, there's a load of FA trophies, so I won't go through that. Loads and loads will be here all night. Yeah, there's loads. The FA trophy Cup went on and on. So we won't.
FA Cup next weekend.
We're about 5 minutes from the end, so we may as well quickly just have a quick touch on the up and coming proper football radio station, which I think Dan's just about to pop up there. So as you can see, it's not the first time we've been involved in setting up a radio station with a football theme. We were involved in a previous one. So what's the idea? So the idea, I'm sure Dan will have his say on this as well, is that one, the radio station will allow us to do a lot more interviews and some different type of podcasts. And also we're going to have a chat room on a Wednesday night, which will go on YouTube and on the radio. The radio will be, you'll be able to listen to it on your Alexas and on your computers, whatever. You get all the information through on that. We will officially announce the launch date very shortly. But we're going to bring all the music, like football and music goes hand in hand, and with fashion, to be fair. But you're going to get lots of ska and 80s and indie and house and soul and funk and northern soul. All the wonderful classic music that maybe we don't quite get enough of. But yeah, Dan, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We've got all different subculture genres, and mod sounds, like you said, northern soul. But we're also anyone who wants to come on board who loves their music, and even budding DJs, or it don't take a lot of equipment to get set up. So if anyone wants to get in touch with us, please do, because we're always looking for DJs to come and play and help out, and we'll tell you how to go about it. So don't hesitate to get in contact with us, whatever genre of music. And we've had some fella with country and western, and we're going to get back to him, but you never know. A few people like country and western, don't they? So
great.
But yeah. Anyone, please get in touch if you would like to get involved with the radio station.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be fun. Like I said, we're going to have a lot more interviews and all that. I don't know if you want to put us back on screen, Dan, now.
Oh, yeah. So I'm looking at you over there. Hang on.
Dan can see me, no one else can. And that's my dog barking to come into the studio.
Also, Gal, I just want to mention, I'm going to do another defibrillator card. Someone just mentioned in there for the defibrillator fund. We was raising money for... I'm going to start another one up this week. It's been a couple of weeks since the last one, and so keep your eyes peeled for that on the pages, and for a great cause. Hopefully, get enough money.
Please do that. But yeah, the radio will open up quite a few more doors for us to be able to provide some really good products. At the end of the day, the other big thing is look, there'll be no news. So when you listen to your radio every hour, what do you get? Doom and gloom. Not with us. Pure music, pure football chat. Yeah, you'll get some doom and gloom with the football, but you won't get doom and gloom like you do on every other station. It'll be pure music, laughs, chit chats, all sorts. It'll be good. Keep an eye out for it, and please get behind us and tune in. And you'll be able to listen in your car as long as you've got Bluetooth, that is, and your data package is reasonable, because all you do is you Bluetooth your phone, and you'll be able to click the Get Me Radio app and listen to us in the car.
And if anyone would like to have any adverts or their company or anything they do,
yes, it's costing us a lot of money to do this, folks. So, yeah,
we're not making a penny from anything. That's not why we're doing it anyway.
We're really burning our pockets, a couple of us. So we are looking, and we will put some packages, some actually quite good ones, because if anyone would like to get behind us and help support us and have their logo put on the show here, or we would allow posts to go up on our pages. You can have a radio jingle, so many different things that you can do. So yeah, anyone interested to help us out would be great, and some reasonably good publicity. 13,000 followers at the moment, haven't we?
On
Something
the page. I think we got 13,500 followers and about 9,500 likes, or it might be the other way around. But we're up to about
it's 13.5 following, yeah,
and then 9.5 likes. So it's about
we're getting there, and we're
24
building it. So
yeah,
it is a platform that would be, and we'd do very cheap deals. We don't need loads of money; we just need a bit. Right, we'll wrap it up. The last thoughts from firstly you, Greg.
Yeah, well, bit of a mediocre weekend, really. Nothing to write home about. Obviously, England negative on Friday as usual. Fully expect a loss tomorrow night. Won't be watching it. And then, look forward to the domestic football returning next weekend. So, all good on my part. Nothing else to add.
Well, proper football was already here this weekend, but hey ho, we'll look forward to the return of the money grabbing league next week. Sorry, but there we are. Everyone knows me now. They know I don't like leading elitists. But anyway, Nigel, last thoughts from you. Other than the fact that you're on Mixcloud, at what time tonight?
I'll be on at 9 o'clock tonight.
9 o'clock, folks. If you want to catch Nigel with some absolutely stunning tunes, then grab hold of him there. And hopefully you might hear a bit of a different Nigel when we launch radio, eh? Give us something different.
I just just summed it up really this weekend. I sort of missed the English football more than the international football. So it'd be good to get the other games back on it.
I agree.
It's not doing anything for me at the moment.
I'm going off to a FA Cup qualifier game next Saturday. So
I never asked you, mate. You wait your turn. Or just,
I was talking to my mate over there.
I'm sorry, mate. I just said like any other false Nigel. Did I say any other false Dan? No, I didn't, mate. Right? So bollocks. We're not going to now ask you at all. No, go on, mate. Go on, mate. You're going off to what, mate? Go on.
No, bollocks, mate.
Brilliant.
No, I'm going to watch Beckenham Town. I forget where they're playing now, but Beckenham's only up the road from me, so they're in the third round of the FA Cup qualifying. So I'm going to get myself down there and do a proper football away day vlog down there, which I ain't done this season. So that's my plan.
No, brilliant. And I'm not around next weekend, so you can not put up with me. You'll have to put up with Daniel. And we'll go from there. My last thoughts. Too late for England with the World Cup, I'm afraid, gentlemen. It ain't going to change. It's too long. It's only 8 weeks away now. Unless there's dramatic changes in Southgate's thought process, then I'm afraid the England we've been seeing is probably the England we're going to see in the World Cup. And let's hope that when the World Cup's over, we can move on with a new manager, and maybe that's what's needed. And I just wish they'd keep the politics out, because all these stances are a feeble waste of time. They had a brilliant opportunity to stand up for diversity and inclusiveness of all, and they didn't take it. So stop banging on about it now. That's my ending thoughts for this week's show. I'll see you all in a couple of weeks. Dan, Nigel, and Greg will see you all next week, and we'll see if we can get someone on with you guys. Yeah. So, goodbye, everyone. Have a lovely week and be safe, everyone. Germany, England tomorrow.